Welcome to 8 Minutes Reading Channel, episode 1.39. Today I will continue to read. Part 2. Classification of Forest. Article 490. Classification of Forest. Point 3. The previous episode I already read up to point 2 of Article 490. Now we continue to read point 3, up to Article 494 of Environment and NRM Code. 3. Sustainable forest resource management shall be classified as private forests, sustainable, production forests, restored forests, reserved forests, and economic land concessions. 8. Private forests. All types of forest land that are in privately owned land. B. Sustainable production forests. All types of forest land located on state public lands, including tree plantations, seed plantations, natural protected areas communities, timber forest, concession forests, and forest lands that can be afforested. C. Restored forests. All forest lands located in state public land and lost or degraded. Forest lands, reforested lands which create natural or artificial forest cover. D. Reserved forests. All types of forest land located in state public land which protect central system and natural resources including but not limited to biodiversity, habitat forest, research forests, botanical gardens, hunting forests, sacred forests, reserved forest lands for future conservation. 4. The ministry responsible for environment and natural resources and subnational administration may create additional forest classification sustainable management forests, including but not limited to recreational forests, production forest communities, experimental forests, and restored forests. Additional forest classification shall be assessed in accordance with the principle of sustainability, research significance, and management plan purposes. Article 491. Modification of forest classification. 1. All proposals to modify forest classification or any part of sustainable management forests shall be required as follows. A scientific and social economic justification for modifying forest classification. B. Efforts to maintain the situation of current classification. C. The nature of modifying classification shall be to promote livelihood and customary rights of local communities. D. Expectations for conservation and ecosystem value increase. Loss of conservation and ecosystem value by any means shall be compensated for the damage. E. Appropriate consultation with affected stakeholders and local communities. F. The above information shall be appropriately adjusted in accordance with the proposal. 2. All proposals for modifications of forest classification or any part of sustainable management forests shall comply with the provisions of this code. 3. Approval for the modification of forest classification shall be permitted in writing by the Ministry responsible for environment and natural resources. Article 492. Sustainable forest management map making/production. In implementing forest resource management activities, the ministry responsible for environment and natural resources and subnational administration shall be responsible for producing the following maps. A. Map of forest resources assessment and forest lands change. B. Map of forest classification. C. Map of forest carbon stock assessment. D. Map of the catchment and watershed classification. E. Map of existing wildlife sanctuary and vulnerable biodiversity. F. Map of tree plantations and seed plantations. G. Map of stock places and wood processing plants. H. Map of road construction across forest areas and other potential maps. Article 493. Forest land use map and registration. 1. The ministry responsible for environment and natural resources and subnational administration shall lead in producing forest land use data and maps for sustainable forest management. 2. The process to take the lead in producing forest land use data and maps for sustainable forest management shall consult relevant stakeholders and assess and define forest boundaries to register national forest land in accordance with the classification and forest land use maps. Article 494. Data management. In consultation with stakeholders, the ministry responsible for environment and natural Resources at the subnational level shall lead, create, collect, and compile basic information and data on forest resources and maintain the data for sustainable forest management planning. Next episode we will read Part 3, Sustainable Forest Use Management Planning. Thank you for listening, and see you soon in episode 1.40.